So imagine this, you get a glowing 5-star review from one of your customers, and then without warning, bam, Google deletes it. No explanation. What on earth's going on, Google? Well, I've got an insightful interview with the Google manager, which I'll reveal later in the video. But just so you're aware, this happens all the time. Sometimes straight after the review's been posted by your customers, and sometimes even 3, even 5 years later. And even when I was writing this video, I checked to see, and I had 18 5-star reviews removed. And some went back 9 months, some went back a year, 3 years, some were even 5 years old. Now, more on that in a minute. And pretty much every business owner I speak to say, how do you get reviews? How do you keep reviews? So this video is for you if you've ever had that issue. And so in this video, I'm going to look at 3 types of reviews that are going to boost your rankings, why reviews are more critical now for your business than ever before, and we'll look at some inside information on Google there, the very strategy that I use to get more reviews, and most importantly, how can you recover those reviews that have been deleted, the genuine ones. Now, before we dive into those, just 2 things you need to be aware of. Number 1, this is not about what happened in the news recently where Google deleted millions of reviews, got all the numbers wrong. That was a bug, that's now been resolved. And number 2, this is not also what Google's just admitted recently, where they've said that some removed reviews may be resurfacing due to technical issues. So these 2 things go on all the time. We're not talking about that. We're talking about recovering reviews that have genuinely been removed by Google. Now, a study was done where they looked at 5 million reviews, and 73.1% of those reviews were 5-star reviews. So why has Google got such an issue with 5-star reviews? Well, because generally, if you're going to fake a review, it's going to be a 5-star one. But that doesn't mean that all reviews that are 5-star aren't genuine. And this is where people get real problems with Google. So let's consider, what are these 3 ways or 3 types of reviews that are valuable when it comes to ranking? Well, I call these the 5-star, the 10-star, and the 50-star review. And that's because not all reviews are equal. Some have much more stronger weight than others when it comes to ranking and how Google ranks businesses. So the idea of just thinking if you've got more reviews or more 5-star reviews, you'll outrank your competitor, I think most people know that isn't going to be how the algorithm works. There's far more to it. But for years in my workshop, I've been teaching and showing you that all reviews are different depending on a few elements. So let's take the first one, the 5-star review. Well, these are just the standard reviews that we're all familiar with. You ask for a review. Ideally, you want it to have something written with it. So if you get a rating of 5 stars with no explanation, no keywords from the customer, that's perhaps not even a 5-star review. But if you get any ranking at all with an explanation, that could be great value. And one of the things here is, as a tip, is try and get the location included in that review if you can. Try and ask the customer as well if they can mention the product or the service that you've done well. The more descriptive the keywords they use, the more useful that is to find your business, and the more valuable that becomes to other customers looking for your business. Old reviews, they're worth more because they have stronger weight, because you can't fake old reviews. And also consistency matters. Having 20 reviews in the same day is not as valuable as having 20 reviews, 1 each week over a period of several months. And you know, even bad reviews aren't the end of the world, as I'll show you in a minute when we see this interview with a Google expert. But ultimately, just respond professionally, and how you handle even 1-star reviews can be very powerful for your potential customers. So what I call the standard 5-star review is just a good review, text-based. So what about the 10-star review then, our second review? Well, as you can see in this review below, the client decided to post their photo of our one-to-one consultation. And that's really powerful because that's going to build trust. So when I talk about consultations in my website or on a video like this, people then will go to my reviews and they'll see that yes, other customers have had this consultation. They've even put a photo of it. And it just helps ease trust, authenticity. It shows I'm an expert, but it also shows to other future customers, it may just be the tipping point that makes them then want to take action. So photos can be really powerful, especially if they're of a job, of a service, or of a product in particular that you're talking about. Now, the reason these are so valuable is they also take a lot more effort from the customer. So for a customer to take a photo, add it, and then put some text, and then rate it as well, takes a bit more effort, but That shows then how much they really value your service if they're prepared to do that for you. So a 5-star review like that is like a 10-star review, I'd say. What on earth could be a 50-star review? Okay, well, it's making the point. And this is down to when people add not a photo, not just text, but they even stick a video. A video review is going to be incredibly difficult to get, but so valuable. Because with AI, authenticity is such a hard thing to show these days. But seeing a genuine review from a customer, that has a tremendous amount of authenticity. And Google can even tell exactly what they're saying in that review. So if they are clearly talking about your expertise in that video, Google can pick that up. So you could say they're the gold standard of reviews. Incredibly challenging to get though from your customers. So they're the best reviews. If you can aim for those first, then anything else is not going to be half as good. But then with the focus on reviews like this, why are they so important at the moment then? Why do reviews matter more than ever? Well, to understand this, we need to travel back to the 80s and the 90s, probably before the internet. So think of Fred, he's walking down the road, he's going to get a paper, and he bumps into his neighbour.
He goes, "Hey Bert, have you seen the pub down the road, the new one? They do great pies there and a good pub pint. You should try it." "Well, cheers, Fred. I'll take the missus there after payday on Thursday."
That's the type of conversation that happened in neighbourhoods before the internet. He's given the pub a 5-star review to his friend, and his friend then will try it out. So Google reviews are just like word-to-word conversations where you tell your friend, actually, I rate this place, you should try it. It's digital word of mouth recommendations. And we know it's important because several businesses have built their whole business on that type of principle. I mean, think about it. Amazon, it's all based on customer feedback and their reviews. eBay, you trust sellers because of their reviews. Trustpilot, the whole thing is based on reviews. Checkertrade, Yelp, it goes on and on. Google sees the power of reviews for business, and so Google's pushing it more and more at the moment. But how do we know that? Where's the proof? Well, just think about it. Have you noticed how your profile has a link? Now, a couple of years ago, you had to find out a hack to get a link to reviews. Now they provide you that link. They encourage the link. They've given you access to send it to Facebook or Twitter or WhatsApp to get that link out there to your customers. They've even done an update recently where you get a QR code to make it even easier to get links to your reviews. None of those existed a few years ago. So that tells us Google is really wanting you to use them. Now, I saw a recent interview with a Google manager.
I would tell them to be aware of all the reviews that are being written about their business, and especially on Google. What we found is that users get really excited about reading reviews, and even bad reviews, as long as you respond to them and try to make it right, explain what was wrong, invite the person back, be a little human in it, it really helps.
And notice what he says about reviews.
Make people realize a couple things. One, you're a responsive owner. You're there listening to the feedback and trying to respond to it. Number two, your business is actually alive and there are people paying attention, and it is not just simply complaints aren't going into the bucket. And then three, even those bad reviews, they let people know that you care. And I think ultimately when people are going to small businesses instead of going to some big, massive business, they want to know there's someone there who's going to take care of them and being excited about giving them a great experience.
So you notice how he stresses the importance of replying, showing your customers you care. All reviews are important. And consider reviews as a way to build a relationship with your customers. So we know that Google wants you to use reviews. We know reviews are going to be rated by Google. We can even see the importance of how you handle customers is going to make a difference. So if that's the case, why are Google reviews all over the place? Why do they just disappear then? Why do they just not really work as you'd expect? And if I've got genuine reviews that suddenly Google decides to take away, how can I get them recovered? How can I get them again back on my account so that people can see that these are genuine reviews, genuine 5-star reviews? Well, as mentioned earlier, I'm in the same boat. I've got 18 reviews that went missing, as you can see here. Now, fortunately, there are some ways to capture. There's some tools that are out there where you can see and capture these reviews, and then you can reverse it. So for example, as you can see here, I'm using Localo. And Localo is a tool that registers all my reviews as they come in, And I can see then how old or when their reviews have disappeared. I can see how many I've currently got. I can see which ones Google's decided that they're no longer going to represent on my profile. And I can now work out a strategy of how to get these ones back. So in effect, I should have about 170 reviews, and Google's decided to get rid of several. So I'm going to put a link down below, which will give you a link to the tool I use to do this, Localo. But there are 3 ways I'm going to attempt to recover these ones. I mean, from the outset, you need some type of software to track your reviews, because what Google's going to want to know is how long ago were they given these reviews, and they want to know who the person was and also what it said. Now, I've got all that information here, as you can see. And I'd say most of my reviews will fall into 3 types of categories. So as I go through these, I'm going to decide what I'm going to do with each one as well, so I can recover each one. Now, the 3 types of categories are this. You need to decide with yours as well. Number 1, are you just going to ask the person again to give the review? And that's fine. Number 2, you could just check to see if there's any words as to why the spam filter has decided that this review is not genuine. Or number 3, you can just go back to Google and ask it to reinstate the review, knowing that the review, who the person is and what it said. So let's go into detail on the first one, ask again. Actually, what I would do is I would try and get this recovered as well. But by asking again, you can just say to them, could you put it on a different review platform? So give an example. You can say to them you want to repurpose it because Google isn't showing it. So say to your customer, look, you wrote me a lovely review, but Google's not showing it. Could you put it on a different platform like Facebook or Yelp or whatever it is that would be ideal for your business? And the reason you should do that is Google loves third-party sites too. So when Google sees a review and it also represents your business and is positive, that also has an impact on your rankings. And we can see that because if you look at the profile, you'll see it shows reviews from the web, and you'll see Facebook and Yelp and other areas in there too. So you could contact your customer and you could say this, hey, thanks for your review. Unfortunately, Google mistakenly removed it. Would you mind posting it on Facebook, LinkedIn, or another platform? And then send a copy of the review. That's my pro tip, is send them a copy, show them, clip it out of, say, the software that you've got in Localo. And then in that way, then, if they don't really want to rewrite the review, they've got the review there, they can just copy that and post it to, say, Facebook. Now that can be really powerful. It means you haven't really lost a review. And if Google at some point in the update decides to reinstate some of your reviews, which they do from time to time, then you've benefited by having a review in 2 different platforms. Okay, so number 2 I said was check the words. So what do I mean by this? Well, certain words can be spam triggers. I mean, Google's spam filters aren't perfect. They're set up to try and work out whether a review is genuine, but of course, you've only got to use one word too many times and Google might just get it wrong. So I went through my phrases, I went through my reviews to see is there anything in particular that might have triggered the spam filters. And I'm looking through things like an overuse of the words best, amazing, guaranteed, or something that's just a bit salesy. Of course, other things it could be multiple reviews from the same person or from the same IP address. It could be too many reviews coming in too fast. So ideally, if you can get some of these reviews to change their keywords, to change perhaps how they've worded it, maybe to remove 1 or 2 words, or even just to add a photo or a video to it, that could be enough to then re-ask Google to look at it again. And Google then, the filters might just go, actually now there's enough changes, and it will then establish that again. Now, if you try those 2 things, the third thing you can do is just ask Google to reinstate it. Google will be more than happy to know what the reviews are and then to just recheck them. And when they do that, there's a good chance you'll start to see these reviews start coming back, gradually filtering back in. So to do this, you just go to a form, you fill out the form, you need to really let them know the date the review was deleted, a copy of the review if they ask for it, a link to your Google Business profile or the ID for it, and you just fill out the form, a recovery form, and then you can just say, you know, these are genuine reviews, can you please relook at them? Now I've done all that for my reviews, and there was one I asked them to remove anyway, so I know about that. So I've got 17 reviews that I'm now going to try and get back up over the next few weeks. Now, as I'm filming this, I may be able to give you an update in this video. If not, I'll give you a future update video on this. But there is something you can do to get reviews coming in straight away, and to get this constant flow of reviews, I put together this video, and it's going to show you how that happens and how you can have an approach that will get you far more reviews than you could ever imagine. In fact, on this video, they got over 100 reviews in a day. Now, I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, as we say in England, as to the way they did it, but you do need to watch it because it will inspire you as to how you can get more reviews for your business. So I'll see you next on this video.